Back to Gauteng now. The Orange Farm community says it's incredibly worried about recent violent crimes that have rocked the area. Alleged gang battles have resulted in a death and several injuries. Newzroom Afrika's Ziniko Mhlaba is in Orange Farm with the latest on the story for us. Ziniko, there are a lot of moving parts, but just in the previous hour, we saw the sister of this boy who was killed, describing the gruesome injuries he's sustained. What else do we know about the issue of gang violence and mob justice in Orange Farm?
Well, good afternoon, Michelle. Yes, indeed, the story of or the issues that are really unfolding here in this Orange Farm community are a bit chilling, but also shocking. But in terms of the actual base or the foundation of what is currently happening has not been clearly explained. No one really has an accurate account in terms of what really sparked this this series of violence, if I may put it, in terms of the incidents which have taken place. But what we've managed to gather so far is that just this week alone, Michelle, starting especially on Monday, I'm going to be relating a story of this particular incident which affects individuals of this particular family. They understand, or they told us that on Monday there were some young men who came through to this particular household and ransacked the entire family looking for the brother of the sister we spoke to earlier on. And when they did not find him, then obviously they fled the scene and left the family members who were here, at home at the time. And then yesterday, the sister was made aware that the very same community, and of course, understanding what had happened at her home here on a Monday, she was very interested. She got very interested and then decided to go and see what was happening at that particular incident. And that's when she really could not identify or see or hear, her loved brother at the incident. But then, just not far away from where that incident was taking place, she saw her brother lying, on the streets, being suffering from various serious head injuries. To some extent, some of the information that she shared was too graphic, even for me to really narrate, but it was a very graphic visuals that he saw her brother, looking at his injuries at the time. And of course, she tried really very hard to mobilize transport that will urgently transport her brother to a nearby health facility. And of course, she did find a private individual who assisted using his buggy. But unfortunately, the brother lost his life on his way to that health facility. So we are outside that home, Michelle, and in terms of, so apparently, even just yesterday, after the commitment of that particular tragedy where the brother was attacked, after they attacked the brother, later on, they came back to this particular household. And of course, they started now throwing stone, smashing windows of this particular household. The gate was locked, but obviously they used very hectic tools to open up these tools, the gates. So even the burglar doors, they were not there. However, what they did then, they broke the windows. This is what they left. This is the damage now. So all the windows of this particular house have been broken. You can see that anything, whether it's wind or any cold weather, that will be experienced by the family members. But that was not just the windows which were expected as we're trying to walk across these houses. You can see there, this is the second window which has been broken by those boys who allegedly, were behind the killing of the gentleman. There is a door from the back of this particular RDP house. It was also damaged. You can see there, it was forcefully, pushed inside. And as you can see there, anyone now can easily access. So when the family members tried to lock as many doors as possible, when they saw that that door, they could not get entry on the front door, they came towards this side at the back of this house, and they also forcefully opened the door. And of course, the chains which were used to lock were very easily unlocked by those boys. So that's what has happened. So it's the similar case with all the windows of this particular house as we try to make our way outside. So this just to give you a sense of how violent those attackers were, if anything, if there's anything to really use what we are seeing here as far as this particular window. I'm going to bring in a councilor, but I'm not going to be showing him on air unless he's comfortable. Councilor, just narrate, my brother, off the camera, just narrate what you understand to have happened in this particular household.
Yeah, no, I think on Monday, this gangsterism, they came here and then they were looking for this other boy who stays here. Then now they started to break all the windows as well as the doors, but they could not find the person they were looking for. And then they had to come again yesterday. So yesterday when they came back and then they did what they have done, ensuring that all now the windows and the doors, they just break everything. And well, the family was in the particular trauma of the breaking of the windows. Then we found out that the person they were looking for was actually killed.
Okay.
So we don't know at this stage to say what was
Okay.
the motive of the killing, but
Okay. Let's hold it there, Councillor. We're going to continue having conversation as we try to visit other families. So that's the situation, Michelle. Just the extent of the damage caused by these alleged attackers who were behind, the killing of a brother who is a resident of this particular house family. We'll move on now to other families to see how they are affected by this, but we'll also understand that the Department of Education will be coming down in the afternoon to really have a briefing in terms of how this violence has affected schooling at one of the schools here in Orange Farm.
Ziniko, before we let you go, can I just ask, the local councillor was apparently at a school this morning, right, talking about gang violence. Are we talking about 14, 15-year-old boys that are involved in these gangs, who are the perpetrators, allegedly, of even this attack on this boy?
Yes, that's what we've been made to understand, that actually this gang violence is amongst young boys, teenagers, as you said, 14, 15, and actually even the person who died from this family was a teenager himself. The eldest person in this household is 23 years old, so that tells you that all this violence is affecting young people, because this is a child-headed family household, but also the deceased is a young boy, and the perpetrators are allegedly school-going children as teenagers, as you have rightfully put out. So that's what we've been made to understand, and that's what we have established as we've been talking to different people here in Orange Farm.